Hello all and welcome back, or welcome for the first time to the Self-Care Summit and to my health and fitness portion for you all. My name is ELarge and I am a health and fitness coach. I've been doing this for a little over 5 years and I love every aspect of it. I started with my own health and fitness journey and I've learned so much along the way and seen how much more of a self-care aspect working on your own health will bring you. Exercise does so much for the body, and then learning about nutrition and what we put into our body and how that fuels us. And so I want to take some moments to share with you all a little bit about how exercise and nutrition are forms of self-care. And I hope that this is very beneficial for you and you learn a little something. First though, I want to take a moment to talk about self-care in general. At its most basic definition, self-care is simply what it sounds like: nurturing yourself. It means treating yourself as kindly as you do others in your life. My favorite example, which I know we've all heard in this setting, but it's so relevant, is the oxygen mask on the airplane. Flight attendants instruct you to put your own oxygen mask on first before helping others. Why? Because you can't help others if you can't breathe yourself. You need to take care of yourself to be able to take care of other people. And that's exactly what we're learning here today for self-care, as it is with exercise and nutrition. So they're two very impactful ways to take care of yourself. They do more than just help you shed a few pounds. Nutrition is the fuel that our bodies run on. Good nutrition is key to good mental and physical health. And the kind of and amount of food that you eat affects the way you feel and how your body works. So it's super important to realize what you're putting in. And then that also helps fuel yourself for the exercise that you'll be able to do. As we all know, exercise helps with weight control, but it also strengthens our muscles and bones, reduces the risk of disease, increases self-confidence, and improves our outlook on life. And that's those mental results that we'll be getting from that as well. So I'll break it down. I'm going to split it up into talking about exercise and then nutrition, and we'll start with exercise. Regular exercise can improve our physical health, decrease our risk for serious health conditions, and help us feel better emotionally. So exercise is not, like I said, not just about losing pounds, which is a lot of the motivation for people to start, but then all these other things like catch up, and you realize how important it is to just be healthy in general. But for many of us, our lives are so full that we don't know how to add exercise into our already packed days. Anybody else relate to that? Right? I get up, I know this is going to be shocking, I get up at 4 a.m. to get my exercise done. I don't actually do my workout until 5, but I take some time for myself in the morning, and that took time. I will tell you, I did not roll out of bed at 4 a.m. in the beginning, and it's taken me years to get to that point, but I love my morning routine now. But neglecting our health at the expense of our busy schedules is dangerous for many reasons. Ultimately, it can stop us from being the healthiest version of ourselves, both in mind and body. Understanding the impact that exercise has on our lives allows us to make intentional choices to improve our health. It's not just going to happen. This is something that we have to plan out and be intentional about, and even schedule it into our day if you're a planner person like I am. Giving you a multitude of emotional and physical benefits. Exercise is, again, about more than weight loss. And I'm going to break down some of these amazing benefits and share those with you, and even the science behind a lot of them. So for exercise benefits, it improves stress and your overall mood. So our bodies release stress hormones as our stress level increases, which may trigger our fight or flight mode. So stress also triggers increased heart rate, trouble breathing, and sweating, which I know you all feel if you feel you're in that fight or flight mode, if you feel like you have to make a quick decision for yourself. So exercise can actually help decrease overall stress levels. In fact, researchers found that exercise actually reorganizes the brain to increase resilience to stress. So that's so cool because I know we all live super stressful lives. And even though I exercise almost every day, there's still stress there. But so I cannot even imagine how it would be if I didn't have that little outlet with my exercise. It's also been shown to improve mood by increasing endorphins. So that's part of that increasing your resilience to stress as well, because you have more of those happy hormones inside of you. And so things tend to just roll off a little bit easier than they would if maybe you didn't have these extra endorphins. And while you're exercising, you typically stop thinking about what's bothering you, and that gives your mind just 20-30 minutes of just calm. And that's what the number one thing I love about my exercise is, that for those 30 minutes or an hour, whatever it is I'm doing, I'm not thinking about how my day went or how my day is going to go, or the fight my husband and I had, or the project that I'm working on at work. I'm just thinking about me and pushing and sweating. So I love that aspect so much. Exercise increases confidence. So of course, the physical benefits, you would say, yeah, of course, that makes you feel more confident when you lose some weight or trim up, but setting, working on, and achieving a set of goals helps build a sense of personal accomplishment. It's key to build slowly on small goals and then celebrate each win along the way. So with each accomplishment, you can continue to work on building larger goals. And that's another one of my favorite aspects. I'm telling you, I just love exercise and nutrition so much. So I'll probably resonate with all of these, but working on those goals and like seeing how far you can push yourself and how much stronger you become just makes such a difference in your confidence. It also adds spark to your sex life. Exercise leaves you energized with those happy endorphins we talked about, in a better mood and feeling better about your body. So all of those have a positive effect on your sex life. In addition, regular physical activity can lead to enhanced arousal for women and prevent erectile dysfunction in men. So that's amazing. We all want that in our life, right? Exercise is also really great at improving your sleep, and sleep is so important. Your sufficient sleep is connected to quality of life and overall health. And because exercise reduces anxiety, depression, and stress, it can lead to improved sleep quality. And as a bonus, there's a bilateral connection between exercise and sleep, which means as you begin to exercise more, the quality of your sleep will improve, and then the quality of your workouts will improve as well. So it's that great cycle going through. Studies also show that consistent exercise is linked to increased productivity and mental focus. This is one of my favorite quotes. After 20 minutes of exercise with an elevated heart rate, your brain learns and retains more for 90 minutes after. So it's another reason why I love my morning routine. I get my exercise in, and then I'll usually read a book then or listen to a podcast that's something good for me, and I know my brain is going to retain more for those moments when I'm listening to that. This means that exercising regularly can help you become more focused and present with your partner, children, and with yourself. So letting go of that self-inflicted guilt is an important part of building self-care through exercise. I know it's tough for a lot of women to feel like we can take the time to ourselves or away from our family or our job, whatever it is. And so just letting go of that guilt and remembering all these positive benefits and how that's going to translate into your family and your relationships. Exercise also rewires and restructures the brain for better functioning and higher order thinking. So few people think about the effect of exercise on the way we think, behave, and relate to people. And personally, I didn't even know that until this recent certification that I went through, that it did all these extra things for us too. So I know that if we don't even realize those things are happening, then we don't think of them as a benefit. And then the last point I want to make is something we're all probably very aware of, but it's so important. Exercise prevents and combats diseases. So regular physical activity can help you prevent or manage or even prevent a wide range of health problems and concerns. So a recent study from the American Academy for Neurology found that women with high physical fitness levels were 90% less likely to develop dementia decades later than women who were less fit. 90%, that's huge. And although this study does not look at the cause and effect of exercise and dementia, there is a great chance that adding fitness could delay or even prevent it. That's amazing. So maybe you already knew that exercise is a key part to your long-term health, physically and mentally, and you are ready to go and you know the recipe for success. Diet and exercise, that should be easy, right? Maybe not. So it's surprisingly easy to get overwhelmed with the amount of exercise material online. Do we do cardio or weight training? Should I go to aerobics class or water exercise? Should I be a runner, or maybe just walking around is enough? So not knowing where to start or what you even enjoy can keep you stuck from starting. And I know personally that was what I did. I thought I just went to the gym and walked on the treadmill, and I loved that they had TVs in there, so I could watch an episode of Law and Order SVU, walk on the treadmill, maybe put it out an incline a little bit. And by the time I was done, didn't know what else to do there. So if you're feeling overwhelmed with the amount of information out there, that's where a coach like me can come in handy. We research and learn all of the information out there, and then it's our job to listen to you and then suggest a path for you to start with. And we're here to tweak along the way so that you're consistently getting those results you're looking for and don't get stuck. So if that's something you're interested in, of course, I'm here. There's other coaches out there, but it was just very, very helpful for me to have someone that kind of broke it down for me and gave me the room also to try a bunch of different ways to get to it because one way doesn't fit for everybody. So it's something to keep in mind here. Like I said, self-care for me is about quieting my mind, and so exercise gives me time to myself, and I'm working so hard I don't think about anything else. And actually nutrition does that too for me. After you get the hang of it, it's not easy either, but it may take weeks or even months to figure out what works best for you. And I know I'm still tweaking years into this because things change all the time, more information is released all the time. But once you do have a system that works for you, or even pieces that work for you, now I don't even have to think about what food groups or portions that I should have to eat at each meal to be able to perform my best. And I also know and prepared that when I treat myself to some things, I enjoy that as a treat, but I also am aware that maybe I won't be as optimal in my workout the next day. And having that knowledge of myself will keep me from beating myself up about having a bad workout. So self-care, by another name, is nourishment. And so when I talk about good nutrition and self-care, I want you to know it never means dieting. Diet actually just means the way that you eat. So we're not talking about restricting or taking out food groups. When I talk about your diet, I'm talking about what you're eating. It means properly fueling and actually feeding your body the basic things it needs to function, like high quality proteins, healthy fats, vitamins, minerals, and carbohydrates. We still need those. Like I said, don't cut that out. I have worked with many women who admit to putting their self-care on the back burner, all the self-care, but that actually oftentimes includes eating. So whether that means eating as fast as possible between your tasks on your to-do list, getting too busy at work to stop and eat, I used to do that all the time, or even avoiding hunger to try to lose weight, that ultimately preparing foods and eating almost becomes a burden and a nuisance. I bet there's some of you out there that rings a bell with, because I know that was me too. I didn't know what to do, so it was just easier to skip meals for me in the beginning, or I used to work a job where I traveled 100% of the time. So I was working, sometimes 16-hour days, and I just ate when I could, or I would be working so much that I didn't even think about my next meal, and it took a toll on my body. So I don't want that to happen to you all. Eating in and of itself is one of the core components to self-care, because it is literally nurturing our bodies to exist. We cannot live very long without enough food or water, and we definitely cannot live at optimal levels without proper fuel. So let's talk about a little bit about nutrition benefits, what we're going to see by cleaning up our diet a little bit. So our food affects our performance and energy levels. If you go long periods of time without eating during your waking hours, the body does not function at its best. We may not be able to think clearly and also experience fatigue, low energy levels, headaches. Food is what gives your cells the energy they need to accomplish their tasks and helps keep blood sugar levels more stable so you feel more energized throughout the day. Food also impacts our mood. Food provides important compounds that contribute to the hormones in our body, which regulate our mood. When our cells and brain are not receiving enough fuel, we can experience irritability, which we also call hangry. On the opposite end of the spectrum, if you're given too much fuel at one time, so if you have too big of a meal, which is always me with pizza. My husband doesn't like pizza. I know, right? Like, who doesn't like pizza? So whenever I get to have pizza, I always overeat. And so after that, we may experience lethargy, easily crash in the afternoon after I have too much pizza. Our food affects our health. An unhealthy diet is a major risk factor for chronic diseases and general poor health. The prevalence of overeating and consumption of nutrient-poor, calorie-dense foods has led to a global epidemic of obesity, even childhood obesity, which is crazy to me. So it's so important to start this stuff young or to learn when we can. Right now is the perfect time. Any moment you get to learn about this and then make small, simple changes in your life is so important. Poor nutrition and overeating has been shown to cause cardiovascular disease, diabetes, several forms of cancer, and also a host of other non-communicable diseases. So it's very important when I talk about nutrition to focus on what we'll call real foods or whole foods. That's typically on the outside aisles of the grocery store. It's foods that are one ingredient: apple, banana, asparagus. When you start to get more ingredients in there, and they're not all bad, absolutely, but when you start to get more ingredients in there, it becomes less and less nutrient dense and more manufactured. So focus on real foods. Fresh whole foods contain more fiber, protein, and healthy fats, which require more time and effort to digest than refined carbohydrates that make up the majority of processed food. So this keeps you satisfied longer, stabilizing your blood sugar and various hormones. So you don't get hangry, you don't get that crash, you don't lose the focus at 2 p.m. in the afternoon when you feel like you need coffee. Just keeps you more stable all throughout the day. And actually, eating too much sugar may make you depressed. One large study on subjects from 6 different countries found that eating a lot of sugar and feeling depressed were very closely related. This may be from chronically elevated insulin. The body is continuously attempting to clear the onslaught of sugar from the bloodstream, which may cause more mood crashes. Eating lean proteins, which include chicken, turkey, and fish, increase your consumption of tryptophan. And tryptophan is the building block of serotonin, which is a neurotransmitter that helps us feel relaxed and happy. Kind of like those endorphins we talked about with exercise. This is the food version of endorphins. So it's also important to remember to have the correct portions and space throughout the day. I have another session in this self-care summit about portions and spacing them out through the day and the importance of that, which is similar to what we just talked about. Just keeps your mood stable, your energy stable, and even throughout the whole day. So good nutrition is the ultimate form of self-care. And while it might not feel like a deep tissue massage that you think of when you think of self-care, it benefits your stress, mood, digestion, and overall health. And it absolutely complements every other self-care practice that you do for your mind and body. And it starts from the inside and goes out. So all those other things like the massages that you're doing for yourself feel great in the moment, and the benefits are amazing as well, but working on the nutrition and what helps your body run is so important and lasts for your whole life and has lifelong benefits. But just like everything else we take on, do not let it consume your every thought. You're doing this to take care of your body and your mind, so give yourself some grace and just focus on the progress as you go along. Pick one thing to work on. Maybe it's your portions, maybe it's your timing, maybe it's adding in breakfast, whatever it is, pick that one thing and then work on that and slowly build on that. With your exercise, start with 10-minute walks throughout your neighborhood every other day, or you can find great workouts on YouTube, or I have a program with workouts as well, and just a little bit every day, maybe parking farther away from the grocery store, so when you walk in, you get a couple extra steps, whatever it is. So don't let it consume your every moment, because that has negative effects on your self-care. So we want to do this to really work on ourselves and be a positive experience. So we don't want any negativity around that. It makes it a little bit harder to want to keep going. So I appreciate y'all hanging out with me and listening, and I hope this gave you some great tips for exercise and nutrition. Have a great one.